The Sacramento Kings have become one of the worst teams in the NBA, sitting as a 13 seed with only 6 wins and 18 losses. So today, I'm going to trade every single player on the Kings roster, and then hopefully we can light the beam while winning ourselves to a championship. Since we're trading away every single player on our team, we will need to find ourselves a new franchise player that we could build this team around going into the future. The first player I'm going to attempt to trade is Sabonis, and let me see which players we can get back in return. Out of all of the trades, this trade here makes the most sense, where we send Sabonis and a future lottery protected first round pick to the Memphis Grizzlies, where we get ourselves Ja Morant, who could be the future franchise player that we intend to build this team around. So let's go ahead and pull off this first trade. The next trade we're going to be pulling off is sending away Zach LaVine and Russell Westbrook to the Toronto Raptors for RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley. And now we're going to be trading away DeMar DeRozan, Dennis Schroeder, and Clifford to the New York Knicks in return for OG Anunoby and Mitchell Robinson, both really good defenders and decent offensive players as well. The New York Knicks already sent us OG Anunoby, but they're also down to send us Mikal Bridges for Keegan Murray and Malik Monk. We do need ourselves another wing player, so this trade will work out perfectly. Now we're going to be acquiring ourselves a backup center from the Houston Rockets, which is Steven Adams, and we also get ourselves a first round pick in return for Dario Saric, Drew Eubanks, and a second rounder. I like this trade here with the Denver Nuggets, where we send them Precious Achiuwa and Devin Carter in return for Peyton Watson. We do need ourselves a backup wing, and Peyton Watson's a really good defender, so he should be able to help us a ton off the second unit. We're sending away Keon Ellis and Max, as well as a second round pick to the Los Angeles Lakers in return for Dalton Connect. And now we have one last trade remaining. Let's see which trade that's going to be. So we have Doug McDermott left to trade. I'm not sure if we're going to get much in return for him. He is a 71 overall, but let me see what we could do. There's not really any good players we can get in return, so what we're going to do is send McDermott to the Cleveland Cavaliers for 2 future second round picks. We have officially traded every single player on the Sacramento Kings roster, and now this is what the new 9-man rotation will be looking like. In the starting lineup, we have Ja Morant, RJ Barrett, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, and Mitchell Robinson. And then off the bench, we have Emmanuel Quickley, Peyton Watson, Steven Adams, and Dalton Connect. Hopefully we're able to win ourselves a championship. If not, I will pull off more trades, make this team better, but now we have ourselves a franchise player that we could build the Sacramento Kings around, which is going to be Ja Morant. Let's go ahead and simulate the first few games and see how we do. Before we get to simulating, please make sure to hit that thumbs up button and also subscribe if you're new for more NBA 2K26 rebuilds. Now let's go ahead and simulate the next 2 weeks and see how we do. The first game is a win against the Denver Nuggets, so we scored 153 points against, where Ja Morant dropped 32 points and 9 assists. RJ Barrett had 27, 22 from Mikal Bridges, and the rest of the team was amazing as well. We did end up losing to the Timberwolves. Let's see if we'll win any more games. We beat the Portland Trail Blazers but lose to the Houston Rockets. We scored 131 points here against the Portland Trail Blazers, where Ja Morant had himself a 22-point double-double, 21 from RJ Barrett and 21 from Emmanuel Quickley. I'm also going to be changing our head coach. Doug Christie's overall is pretty horrible. He's 71 overall in head coach, so we're going to go ahead and fire him and try to hire ourselves this dude here who goes by the name of Ross Francis, who has an 82 overall in head coaching. And he will accept, so we got ourselves a new head coach. He's a really good defensive head coach, Ross Francis. We will be rolling with a 4-star overall system proficiency, balanced under Francis. So now what I'm going to do is start simulating until the trade deadline. I'm not sure if we're going to be pulling off any more trades, but if I do, of course, I'll make sure to stop and show you guys. We have below 14 players on our team, and that means we need to sign a player that's currently a free agent. Malik Beasley is always a free agent. He's a really good 3-point shooter, so we cannot really go wrong with him. I'm going to go ahead and sign him on a 2-year contract. He only wants a minimum, which is really good for us. And even after that, we still have below 14 players, so I'm also going to go ahead and sign Ben Simmons on a 2-year contract as well. We're stopped here at the trade deadline, and I will be pulling off one last trade for this season. What I did is I changed Ben Simmons' position from point guard to small forward, and now he's gone up to 81 overall, so I threw him and Mitchell Robinson in Trade Finder, and the Utah Jazz are willing to send us Walker Kessler. So this is a trade we're going to be pulling off to acquire Walker Kessler to be the brand new starting center. At the end of season number 1, Nikola Jokic wins MVP, Cooper Flag Rookie of the Year, Kel'el Ware wins 6th Man, Victor Wembanyama Defensive Player, Jaime Jaquez Most Improved, Tyrese Maxey Clutch Player, Chris Finch Coach of the Year, and we win Executive of the Year. Let's see if we have any All-NBA selections. I don't believe we will, and we do not. Don't get anyone on all defensive team either, and that's alright because we made the playoffs as the number 6 seed, winning a total of 47 games and losing 35. So clearly we have turned things around here in Sacramento after pulling off all of the trades that we did. Here are the player stats for the regular season. The leading scorer on our team was none other than Ja Morant, averaging 23 points per game, nearly 20 from RJ Barrett, 16 from Bridges, 15 from Quickly, 14.5 from OG Anunoby, and 10 points from Walker Kessler. The first round of the playoffs, we're taking on the San Antonio Spurs, who still have themselves De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, Devin Vassell, and Victor Wembanyama. I don't think we'll be winning a championship in this first season, but let's see what happens here. Game number 1 will go to the Spurs. Ja Morant had 34 points, RJ Barrett had 28 and 23 from Bridges. We did only end up losing by 1 point. Our defense wasn't the best. We also lose game 2 sadly, and they held us to 97 points. Ja Morant only scored 17 points here. We do end up winning one game here. We win game 3 where Ja Morant dropped 34 points, 20 from OG Anunoby, and 14 from RJ Barrett. Can we at least win one more? And yes, we do. So we end up tying up the series. RJ Barrett led the way, dropping 26 points, 20 from Bridges, and 18 from Ja Morant. The series is tied at 2-2 apiece. Let's see what happens here. We do end up winning the next game as well, putting us up 3-2. RJ Barrett dropped 31 points, OG Anunoby had 19, Ja Morant had a 17-point double-double. Are we going to defeat the San Antonio Spurs? No, we do not. They do beat us here in game 6, and now it's going to a game 7. Ja had 35, 23 from OG, but we do fall short. Now it's time for game 7. Let's jump into Simcast and see what happens. So far, we do have the lead here. And it looks like we will be eliminating the San Antonio Spurs in the first round of the playoffs. Ja Morant dropped 30 points, Bridges had 22, and 17 from OG Anunoby. And just like that, we're in the second round of the playoffs taking on the Los Angeles Clippers. It looks like the Clippers still have themselves James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, and Zubac. Let's see if we're able to defeat this team. If we defeat them, we make it to the conference finals. Game number 1 will go to us. OG drops 33 points. Ja Morant had a 27-point double-double. Walker Kessler had himself 18 rebounds. We also win game 2. We lose game 3. We win game 4. And we end up defeating the Clippers in game 5. And just like that, we're in the conference finals. Either going to be taking on the Phoenix Suns or the Golden State Warriors. It will be the Phoenix Suns, who have themselves Devin Booker, Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, and Mark Williams. I was not expecting us to make it this far here into the playoffs, especially in the first season of this rebuild. But now we're taking on the Phoenix Suns. If we defeat them, we make it to the NBA Finals. Game 1 will go to the Phoenix Suns. Williams had 25, 24 from Booker, and sadly we do fall short. OG Anunoby was balling out here, and he's been playing really well here in the playoffs, shooting 56% from the field and 40% from the three-point line. Ja Morant's been averaging 26. Game 2 will also go to the Phoenix Suns, and it looks like they may be sweeping us, and yeah, we end up being swept by the Phoenix Suns, but that's alright because we honestly made it further than I had expected. The NBA Finals, it's Devin Booker winning Western Conference Finals MVP, Paolo Banchero, Eastern Conference Finals MVP, and the Phoenix Suns go on to win, with D-Book winning Finals MVP. Here's a little rundown of the playoffs. We played a total of 16 games, and in those 16 games, the leading scorer was Ja Morant, averaging nearly 27 points per game, as well as 9 assists on really good shooting splits. 18 from OG Anunoby, 17 from RJ Barrett, 15 from Mikal Bridges, and 11 from Emmanuel Quickley. This offseason, we did end up with the 23rd overall pick in the first round, but we don't really need ourselves a rookie, so I'll most likely be trading this away for somebody else. I'm going to be pulling off a trade here with the Orlando Magic where we send them RJ Barrett and our 23rd overall pick in return for Desmond Bane and their 2029 swap worst. Desmond Bane this past season was averaging 20 points per game, shooting 40% from the 3-point line, so we're going to pair up Ja Morant with his old friend Desmond Bane. It's time for free agency, and who we do need to re-sign is Walker Kessler. He wants about $17 million a year, so I'm going to offer him a 5-year contract. Let's see if we're able to lower this down to about $15.5 million. And he will be accepting this contract. We're going to be paying him a 5-year, $89 million contract. I would also like to get ourselves a backup power forward. Rui Hachimura is a really good offensive player, so I'm going to go ahead and offer him a 2-year contract, $5 million annually, and he'll also be accepting as well, so we get Rui and Walker Kessler for the next few seasons. Here we are at the start of this season with our brand new 9-man rotation. The starting lineup will include Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, and Walker Kessler, and then off the bench we have Emmanuel Quickley, Dalton Connect, Rui Hachimura, and Jay Huff. We will be rolling with a 4.5-star overall system proficiency balanced under Russ Francis. Let's go ahead and simulate the first week and see how we do. We do end up defeating the Denver Nuggets 138-134, where Ja Morant had a 27-point double-double, 25 from Bane and 21 from OG, but then we went ahead and lost the OKC Thunder and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Since we did change up our rotation, it might take some time to build team chemistry, which is why we're probably losing, but let's go ahead and simulate the next week as well. We do end up defeating the Toronto Raptors, the Portland Trail Blazers, and the Miami Heat. We scored 129 points here against the Trail Blazers, where Ja Morant had himself a 34-point double-double, Desmond Bane had 23, and Walker Kessler had a 19-point double-double. A problem we were facing last season, we didn't really have a good consistent second option. It was RJ Barrett, but he wasn't really a good 3-point shooter, and besides Ja Morant, you obviously need shooters. So now we got Desmond Bane here as a second option, and he's already averaging 20 points per game, shooting 51% from the 3-point line. At the end of this season, Victor Wembanyama wins MVP, Cameron Boozer wins Rookie of the Year, Cameron Boozer also wins 6th Man of the Year, Wemby Defensive Player, Cooper Flagg wins Most Improved, Anthony Edwards Clutch Player, JB Bickerstaff Coach of the Year, and we win ourselves Executive of the Year. Let's see if we have any All-NBA selections. We do get ourselves Ja Morant on All-NBA second team. Let's see if we have anyone here, and we also get Walker Kessler on all defensive first team. Let's go. That will be it for awards. We ended this season as a number 1 seed, winning a total of 61 games and losing only 21. I'm really happy with the way this season turned out for us. We were the number 1 seed, won a boatload of games, but let's take a look at how our team players did. The leading scorer on our team was Ja Morant, averaging 25 points per game and nearly 10 assists per game, shooting 56% from the field. Then we had Desmond Bane averaging 20 points per game on 50, 40, 80 shooting splits. 17 from Mikal Bridges, his efficiency was amazing as well, 50, 40, 80. OG Anunoby was averaging 16, 13 from Quickley, and 11.5 from Walker Kessler, as well as 12 rebounds and 2.5 blocks per game. Now it's time for the playoffs. In the first round, we're going to be taking on the New Orleans Pelicans, who have themselves Jeremiah Fears, Jordan Poole, Zion Williamson, and Derek Queen. Let's see if we're able to defeat them. Game number 1 will go to us, and Ja Morant dropped 38 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. OG had 19, a lot of players in double-digit scoring, and our defense was amazing. We held them to 96 points, only allowing them to score 6 points in the first quarter. I do feel like we could win ourselves a championship these playoffs. Game number 2 will also go to us. Ja Morant has his 27-point double-double. Desmond Bane drops 27 points and 21 from Mikal Bridges. We also win game 3 and we sweep the New Orleans Pelicans to make it to the second round. So far, Ja Morant's averaging 30 points per game, Desmond Bane's averaging 18, Bridges 14, OG 17. And Walker Kessler is averaging 9 and nearly 10 rebounds per game, as well as 2.5 blocks per game. In the second round of the playoffs, we're going to be taking on the OKC Thunder, who have themselves Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Wallace, Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, and Hartenstein. Let's see how things go here. Game number 1 will go to us, and Ja Morant dropped a 24-point triple-double. OG had 25 and 29 for Desmond Bane. We also win game 2. Desmond Bane leads the way once again with 25 points. Morant had 23 and 22 from Bridges. We win game 3, and we do not sweep them, but we do end up gentlemen sweeping the OKC Thunder, making it to the conference finals. Ja Morant's nearly averaging 30 points per game. Desmond Bane is averaging 22 points per game. Let's see how Walker Kessler has been doing. He's averaging a double-double as well as 2.5 blocks per game. In the conference finals, we're going to be taking on the Dallas Mavericks. They still have themselves Kyrie Irving, Cooper Flagg, Anthony Davis, Lively, and Hardy in their starting lineup. Game number 1 will go to the Mavericks. Morant had 27, Bridges had 26, but we do fall short. And I would like to come up with a defensive coach game plan. I do want either Mikal Bridges or Desmond Bane guarding Kyrie Irving and not Ja Morant. So let me fix a few things up and then we'll advance to game 2. Alrighty, I came up with a defensive coach game plan. Let's see if we can win game 2 here, which we do end up doing. And the defensive coach game plan worked because we held them to 86 points, whereas we scored 150. Ja Morant had a 42-point double-double. Desmond Bane had 23, 18 from Bridges. And let's take a look at how we did. So we held Anthony Davis to 8 of 22 shooting, Kyrie Irving to 4 of 10, and Cooper Flagg to 3 of 11, so clearly our defense was amazing. We also win game 3 here with Desmond Bane dropping 38 points, Ja Morant had a 22-point double-double, and we held them to below 100 points once again. Anthony Davis to 9 points. Game 4, we also end up winning, which puts us up 3-1. Ja Morant with 29, Rui Hachimura with 20, we held the Mavericks to 98 points. And are we going to gentlemen sweep them? No, we do not. But we do end up beating them in Game 6. Ja Morant wins Western Conference Finals MVP, averaging 25 points per game. Cade Cunningham wins Eastern Conference Finals MVP for the Detroit Pistons. And that means we're going to be taking on the Detroit Pistons here in the NBA Finals. They still have themselves Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, Thompson Stewart, and Jalen Duren, who's now a 90 overall, averaging nearly 20 points per game. Game number 1 will go to us, and Desmond Bane leads the way, dropping 35 points. Ja Morant had a 26-point double-double. We also win game 2. Let's go. Ja Morant drops a 31-point double-double, Bane with 28, and Bridges with 20. And we win game 3, putting us up 3-0. Ja Morant dropped 33 and 12 assists. Desmond Bane had 25. Walker Kessler had an 18-point double-double. And are we going to sweep the Detroit Pistons? That's exactly what we're going to do to win the Sacramento Kings a championship, with Ja Morant winning Finals MVP, averaging a 32-point double-double on crazy good shooting splits. Even though we won ourselves a championship, I will still run it back one more season to see if we're able to win a back-to-back championship. And here are the player stats for the playoffs, where we played a total of 19 games. The leading scorer was Ja Morant, averaging a 28-point double-double on really good shooting splits, 22 from Desmond Bane, and we had a bunch of players here in double-digit scoring. In the NBA Finals, we played 4 games. The leading scorer was Ja Morant, averaging 32 points per game, 25 from Bane, a 17-point double-double from Walker Kessler. The rest of the team was amazing as well. Now it's time for the offseason. Let's see if there'll be any trades we're going to be pulling off or not. If there are, I'll make sure to show you guys. This offseason, our boy Steven Adams is deciding to retire at the age of 33 after winning himself his first ever championship. LeBron James will also be retiring with the Washington Wizards, and Jimmy Butler with the Golden State Warriors. Since we already won ourselves a championship, what I'm planning on doing this offseason is pulling off a big trade just for fun. That way we can make this video a little bit more entertaining. I am going to try and acquire ourselves a pretty big player. We do have a bunch of first round picks that we can include in a trade. So let me see which trade we can cook up. And as I said, we are going to attempt to pull off a pretty big trade this offseason, which is trying to acquire ourselves Scottie Barnes from the Toronto Raptors. I'm attempting to send them OG Anunoby, the 30th overall pick. We're probably going to have to include some more first rounders, but that's okay. So they do decline as of right now. Let's start throwing in some more first rounders. 2 first round picks does not get it done. 3 first round picks does not get it done. What about 4? And just like that, we end up getting Scottie Barnes to be the brand new starting power forward. And no, we are not finished. I'm also attempting to pull off a trade here with the Boston Celtics where we acquire ourselves Derek White, sending them Desmond Bane. We got Scottie Barnes, so we no longer need another high usage rate player. Desmond Bane's a pretty high usage rate player, and we already have ourselves Ja Morant and Scottie Barnes. Derek White's a player that could play off the ball, catch and shoot player, also a really great defender. And they do decline, but we do have ourselves 1 first round pick I believe we can include in this trade. So 1 first round pick, they still decline. What if we throw in a bunch of second rounders? Would that get it done? And just like that, we acquired Derek White to be the brand new starting shooting guard on our team. For team player options, I will pick up the team option on Dalton Connect, and let's see if there's anyone we need to re-sign. So we don't need to re-sign anyone this offseason in free agency. Every player, I guess, we already have on a long-term contract, which is absolutely amazing. Peyton Watson and Fontecchio have not been a part of our rotation this past season, so there's no point in keeping them around. So what I'm going to do is trade them away to the Cleveland Cavaliers, where we get ourselves Jalen Tyson in return, who this past season was averaging 11 points per game. He's a good defender and a really great 3-point shooter. And I do have one more trade left in mind, so what I'm going to do for now is try and acquire ourselves some first round picks. I signed Malik Beasley here in free agency, that way we could trade him for first rounders, and the Clippers are down to send us 2 future first round picks. I'm going to do the same here with Sam Hauser. Hopefully we're able to get 1 first rounder, and there we go. We get a lottery protected from the Utah Jazz. The trade I had in mind was acquiring ourselves Andrew Nembhard from the Indiana Pacers, but to make the salaries match, we're also going to have to take on Luke Dort, and honestly I don't mind that at all. He's a really great defender, could possibly be the backup shooting guard, but I am offering the Pacers Emmanuel Quickley, and we will be throwing in some first rounders. They want Jalen Tyson, but we're definitely not throwing him in, but what I will do is throw in Jay Huff and a few first rounders. They still want Jalen Tyson, but sadly that's not going to happen for them. Lottery protected, and yeah, they're going to give us a counter offer. They want 3 first rounders, Quickley and Jay Huff, so let's go ahead and pull off this trade. I was thinking that would be it for trades this offseason, but the Atlanta Hawks are down to send us Derek Lively II, a first round pick for Andre Drummond and Isaiah Jackson. There's no way we're going to pass up on this trade offer. We're going to acquire Derek Lively II to be the new backup center. Here we are at the start of this season with our brand new 9-man rotation. We made a lot of trades this past offseason, and this team is looking absolutely amazing. The starting lineup, we're going to have ourselves Ja Morant, Derek White, Mikal Bridges, Scottie Barnes, and Walker Kessler. And then off the bench, we have Andrew Nembhard, Derek Lively II, Jalen Tyson, and Dalton Connect. I honestly feel like we're going to be unstoppable this season. Every player in our 9-man rotation is a 80 overall or higher. Let's go ahead and simulate the first week and see how we do, and we do end up winning all 3 of the first 3 games of this season. Against the Cleveland Cavaliers, Ja Morant dropped 49 points, Walker Kessler had a 14-point double-double, Scottie Barnes had 14 points as well, and so far Scottie's averaging 26 points per game, Ja Morant is averaging 37 points per game. I also forgot to mention, this past offseason, I went ahead and fired our previous head coach. He was a computer-generated bot, he wasn't a real person, so that's why I fired him and hired ourselves Joe Mazzulla to be the brand new head coach, and we will be rolling with a 4.5-star overall system proficiency balanced. We're almost at a 5-star overall system proficiency, and our defense is absolutely amazing as well. At the end of this season, Victor Wembanyama wins MVP. Ja Morant was in the race to winning MVP right behind Victor Wembanyama, but this sucks that it did not go to our boy. Gary wins Rookie of the Year, Jalen Johnson 6-man, Wemby also wins Defensive Player, Darren Peterson Most Improved, Paulo Banchero Clutch Player, Joe Mazzulla, our head coach, wins Coach of the Year, and we also win Executive. Let's check out the All-NBA standings, and we do get ourselves Ja Morant and Scottie Barnes on All-NBA second team. Let's go. And we do not get anyone on all defensive team. Even though Scotty Barnes was playing really well defensively, somehow he does not make it here, which honestly sucks, but it is what it is. Same as Walker Kessler. We did end the season being the #1 seed, winning a total of 66 games and losing only 16. Before we start simulating the playoffs, let's take a look at the player stats for the regular season. And the leading scorer on our team was none other than Ja Morant, who was averaging 29 points per game, 5 rebounds, 9 assists, shooting 57% from the field. Then we had Scotty Barnes averaging 25 points per game on really good shooting splits, also really good defense as well, 3 stocks per game. Mikal Bridges was averaging 16, 15 from Derek White, 12 from Nembhard, 11.5 from Walker Kessler, as well as 12 rebounds, and then we had 11 from Jalen Tyson. And now it's time for the playoffs. Let's see if we can win ourselves a back-to-back championship. We're going to be taking on the OKC Thunder in round 1. They still have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jalen Williams, and Chet Holmgren. Game number 1 will go to us, and Ja Morant drops 38 points. Scotty had a 28-point double-double. We also win game 2. Ja Morant dropped 43 points here, hitting 17 out of his 21 free throws. We win game 3, and we do not sweep the OKC Thunder, but we do gentlemen sweep them, beating them in game 5. And so far, Ja Morant is averaging 38 points per game, Derek White 17, Bridges 17, and Scotty Barnes 20. In the second round of the playoffs, we're going to be taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves. They still have themselves Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, Julius Randle, and Naz Reid. And it looks like Desmond Bane ended up on the Minnesota Timberwolves. They also have Robert Dillingham, who's now up to an 84 overall. Let's see how things go here. Game number 1 will go to us. Ja Morant drops 39, 11, and 7. Game number 2 will also go to us. This time it's Scotty leading the way, dropping 27 points. Morant had himself a 23-point double-double. Now we're up 2-0 against the Minnesota Timberwolves. We also beat them in game 3, and we do not sweep them, but we do end up defeating them in game 5 as well. Just like that, we're back in the conference finals, this time taking on the San Antonio Spurs. They have De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, Vassell Sohan, and Victor Wembanyama. Ja Morant continues dominating, still averaging 33 points per game here in the playoffs, and Scotty is averaging 25.5 points per game. And now let's see if we're able to defeat the Spurs and make it to the NBA Finals. Game number 1 will go to us with Scotty Barnes dropping 42 points, Mikal Bridges 29-point double-double, and we had Ja Morant with 21 points. Game number 2, we also end up winning. Scotty leads the way, dropping 23. Derek Lively II off the bench with a 23-point, 17 rebound, and 3 block game. Derek White 21. For some reason, Ja Morant only played 14 minutes while he did foul out in 14 minutes, dropping still 18 points. And we also defeat them here in game 3. Not a single game lost in the conference finals. Ja Morant had a 29-point double-double and 22 from Nembhard. Are we going to sweep the Spurs? And that's exactly what we do. Ja Morant drops 33 points. Scotty had a 27-point double-double. Scotty Barnes wins Western Conference Finals MVP, averaging 28 points a night. Cade Cunningham wins Eastern Conference Finals MVP for the Detroit Pistons. That means we're going to be taking on the Detroit Pistons once again, just like last season. We're taking on the Detroit Pistons here in the NBA Finals. They do have themselves Cade Cunningham, Ivy, Thompson, Holland, and Jalen Duren. Basically the same starting lineup as last year. Game number 1 will go to the Detroit Pistons, and they beat us here by 3 points. Ja Morant had 33, 32 from Scotty Barnes, but our defense was not well at all, and Cam Thomas dropped 42 points on our head, even though he's coming off of the bench for them. Game number 2 will end up going to us. Scotty Barnes leads the way, dropping 33, 24 from Ja, and 18 from Derek White. We win game 3, and let's see how Ja did. He had a 30-point double-double. Derek White had 22, and he's been playing absolutely amazing for us. I'm really glad we acquired Derek White in the off-season. We do end up losing game 4, and just like that, the series is tied at 2-2 apiece, and perhaps I should have come up with a defensive coach game plan, because right now we have Ja Morant guarding Cade Cunningham. But I'm going to change that and have Derek White to be guarding Cade Cunningham at all times. Alrighty, I've come up with a defensive coach game plan. Let's jump into Simcast. The series is tied at 2-2 apiece. We will have home court advantage here for game 5. Let's see if we can go out there and secure this win. So far, we do have the lead, and it looks like we do end up winning by 2 points. Scotty Barnes dropped 43 points here, and Ja Morant had himself a 30-point double-double. Our defense wasn't the best, to be honest. We still played pretty horrible defensively, but luckily, our offense was a little bit better than theirs was. Now we're up 3-2. Let's jump into Simcast once again. This game, the Pistons have home court advantage, and it looks like we will be winning this game by 12 points to win Ja Morant and the Sacramento Kings another back-to-back championship. Scotty Barnes led the way once again, dropping 39 points. Ja Morant had a 25-point double-double, and just like that, we've won ourselves a back-to-back championship with Ja Morant winning Finals MVP, averaging basically a 28-point double-double. And before I end out this video, let me show you guys the player stats here in the playoffs, where we played ourselves a total of 20 games. And in those 20 games, the leading scorer was Ja Morant, averaging 30 points per game, 8 assists on really good shooting splits. And then we had ourselves Scotty Barnes, who was averaging 28 points per game, shooting nearly 50, 40, 90. I'm really glad we went out there and traded for Scotty Barnes because he helped us a ton here in the playoffs. And I honestly believe if we didn't have ourselves Scotty Barnes, we wouldn't have won this championship. Mikal Bridges 15, 14 from Derek White. Nembhard was also a really good get for us. His shooting splits have been off the charts lately. As you guys can see, he's been shooting 50, 40, 90 ever since he's joined our team. Lively was great as well, and here are the NBA Finals stats. We played a total of 6 games. The leading scorer in those 6 games was Scotty Barnes, averaging 31 points per game, 28 point per game double-double from Ja Morant, and the rest of the team was amazing as well. And that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please make sure to hit that thumbs up button and also subscribe if you're new for more NBA 2K26 rebuilds. That helps out my channel a ton. And click here on the screen to watch my latest upload. Until next time, it's your boy Dragon, and I'm out. Peace.